Well, you're listening to Ask Christina First, and this is your host, Christina Suter, as usual. And today my topic is, of course, on small business, but specifically, I want to talk about small business and your competitors. Now, you could call them competitors, but you can also call them, what else could you call them? I had the word in my brain, it disappeared. Okay, you could call them competitors, but you can also call them complementary. And here's what I'm trying to get to. It seems awfully odd, maybe, but here's what I'm trying to get to. Who are you in the field? This is the question I have for you. Who are you in the field that you're in? Now, I've talked before about being an expert and you taking the space and owning the space of being an expert in your field. Now, we have talked, and I will talk again, about spotting business trends in your industry. That has to do with your industry as a whole, and where is the industry going? The whole buggy whip example. But here's my question for you. Who are you in your industry? I want you to understand, I want you to grok. What slot do you fill in your industry? What slot do you feel that you fill in your industry? Not just from your vision. We all have a vision, and I talk a lot about vision. And what's your vision for yourself? And what's your vision for your company? What's the vision that you have for your company fulfilling a need on the face of this planet, or inside of your industry, or filling the need with your clients? All of them very good questions. Mine is, who are you in the scope of your industry? So I want you to think about this. I want you to contemplate, who am I? Am I the low-end guy that offers a good service? Am I the top-end guy who offers a luxury brand and a lot of customer service? Am I the middle guy who's available for most people with a good amount of customer service behind them? Who are you? Now, here's what I want you to look at. There's a couple of reasons why I want you to look at this. But first, I want you to look at it from the perspective of, well, who am I? Not who do I think I am, but who am I? So how am I going to challenge you to answer this question? Here's my challenge to you. Go on Google, the font of all knowledge. Go on Google and look up, who are all your competitors? Who are the people that do what you do? Now, if you're very regionally based, you want to be aware of that. But who are the people that do what you do? I recently had a client do this, and she's in a very specific industry. It's a small niche. There are only about 5 companies in the Southern California area that does what she does. But what she does is a national product. So she was able to compare herself to the national market. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Google and I want you to write out on a piece of paper, who are all the other competitors that seem to do what you're doing? And how are they doing it? Are they the lower end competitor? What is it that they say in order to place themselves? Are they the upper end competitor? What is it that they say to place themselves? You might be asking me, or asking me in your head, since you're listening to the radio show, well, how am I supposed to understand that? It's pretty easy. When you go to their website, especially when you've visited 3 or more of these websites, you really get a sense for what is the consistency in the industry that people put out on their webpage. What is consistent? Is it a customer service item? Is it product features having to do with your specific product? Was it the way they talk to their customers about what their customers' needs are? If you're in a service-based business, they might be consistent about what the customer needs are. If you're in a product-based business, then it's going to be product details, right? So first you want to write down the name of the company. What is it that they're stating that you feel like is consistent? And how are they stating themselves as being different? How are they trying to create their own niche, their own differentiation from the rest of everybody else in the industry? Now, they may or may not actually be different from everybody else in the industry, but they might state it in a way that they feel that they are. So that's first. Company name, what is the same, what is different? Now, beyond those 3, I also want you to look at what's the look of their website. How do they place themselves? Do they place themselves as a lower end product or website? And I don't mean this in any bad way. For anybody who's having any insult over this, this is not my intention. I'm not intending to insult you. What I'm intending to do is to suggest to you that people intentionally place themselves in the segment of the market they want to be placed in, right? Are they a basic product that offers relatively good food or a relatively good product? For me, the food industry is what's coming to mind for me. But they offer low levels of specialization in customer service. Think of your corner Chinese fast food restaurant, right? That you walk in, they have the food pre-made, it's in a bunch of buckets, they're warm. The food is probably no MSG because that's common to the industry now, right? But their focus is on getting you in and getting you out and giving you a hot meal at the end of their line, and then you pay them for it. You don't pay them very much. They usually give you a lot of food for not very much money, right? Okay, compare that to the upper end restaurant. I have up here close to me a place called Panda Inn. Now, Panda Inn is the originator of all the Panda Expresses, but I don't know if they have one or more Panda Inns, but they only have a few. They only have a few of their upper end restaurant that you walk in. It's a sit down service. You custom order your food. You have a waitress walk up to you and ask you if you're having a good day, and then you definitely pay a higher bill than you would at Panda Express. But in theory, Panda Express and Panda Inn are just two ends of the same spectrum serving their customers. So look at it that way. Their websites will tell you by the look and the feel and the colors on their website will tell you if they're positioning themselves as a lower end, high value product, or are they positioning themselves as an upper end, high customer service product or high customer satisfaction product. So the first part was just doing a Google search on the internet to try to confirm who are your competitors? What do they look like? What is it they're doing? How are they positioning themselves by the look and feel of their website and the content that's physically on their website? So who are they? And that was the first part. Okay, part two. I want you to start doing a pricing comparison. So this is the mystery caller concept, or mystery shopper, basically, is what it boils down to. I want you, once you've mapped out everybody who's regional in your industry and maybe some national players in your industry, and I want you to visit at least eight, preferably 10 people in your regionally and nationally in your industry. Like I said, I had one client who did this recently. She only had 5 that were local, so she had to go national, but I want you to look at 8 to 10. Then I want you to write down their phone numbers. Once you've done the comparison, I want you to write down their phone numbers and or find their pricing on their website. What is their pricing? What services are they offering for that pricing? Now, in my industry as a consultant, my pricing's not on my website. So you'll have to call me, and you'll have to be a mystery shopper. And here's what it sounds like. You call and you say, you know what? I'm considering using your services, but I want to ask you a few questions. Okay. And then once you get them on the phone, you ask them a few questions. The questions are things like, tell me about your product. Give you more ideas about how they think they're positioning themselves in the industry. Tell me about how you feel like your product is different, maybe from other providers, or your company is different from other providers. That would be a second question. And the third question is, what price do you charge? And if they're unwilling to give you what price they charge, which if you called me and asked me these questions, I probably would recognize what you were doing because I'm the one who suggested this. And I know about doing this mystery shopper price comparison. But you can also ask, what in general do you charge your clients? What's your price range? What are your packages you have for your clients? And they'll give you some idea. They will present to you some kind of price point. And you want to guess, you want to write that information down. And after you've made these 8 to 10 phone calls and you've gotten a sense for the price comparison, and different packages will be different ways and the prices will appear differently, I want you to look at it. Sit down and look at it. Trust me, there'll be a lot of information available to you just by having done these 8 to 10 phone calls. And you look at it and you say, well, where is my price point in comparison to everybody else? Who is the least expensive people? in the industry or in my region for my industry, and who are the more expensive people in my region, in my industry. And it'll open up all kinds of questions for you in your brain. One, it will open up, am I pricing my product appropriately for the industry? That's first. And that'll probably be one of the questions. Not the first question, the second question in your brain will be, am I pricing my product appropriately? Now, I have a whole radio show that is specifically on pricing your product, and there are 3 different ways that I want you to look at your product in order to price it. I'm not going to go through that on this particular radio show. But if you want to look in the archives, you can probably find those either on the AWOP website or online. The price comparisons. Okay. But what I want you to do is go, where am I? And the way you can kind of break down the packages, because there are people who offer packages and there are people who offer hourly, is you guess at what you think the packages will include, or you'll ask as you talk to them, what does that package include? And then you try to guesstimate at a per hour charge. And so you try to break it down so that everybody's kind of on a per hour charge, and then you look at your own. You probably know what your per hour charge is, what you're trying to target in your per hour charge, even if you're doing packaging. I know what I try to target. I know my number. I know my per hour number range that I try to hit, and it is a range. It's not a single number for me. Right? I do have clients that are loyal clients that I give a quote-unquote loyalty discount to or loyalty pricing to, and I have clients that are newer. I have packages for clients that are brand new when they first walk in, and so that I can get this, I can get a concerted amount of work done with them. So, where are you? So first, your question will be probably, where are you in the price comparison? The second question is, should you change your pricing? Now, let me talk about, should you change your pricing? Because that really has to do with what strata you are filling in the industry. Notice I said you are filling versus you want to be filling or you think you're filling. That's the next question. The first question is, what strata are you filling in the industry? And does your services and the things that are complementary, that are part of the pricing, justify that price given the other people in the industry? Just a comparison. Not a, gee, I wish I was, not a, gee, I thought I was, but a pure analytical, if you can, comparison of, here is what I am offering, and here is what it is in comparison to everybody else. And it is a fair price point, or it is not a fair price point. Or other people are going to price me out because they're offering more services for less money. Then comes the question of, who do I wish to be in the market? Who did I think I was? And if I'm not that, who do I wish to be in the market? And do I need to change something in order for me to hit the mark I want to be hitting in the market? You see the value of knowing who you are, where your pricing is, and whether you're hitting the mark you want to be hitting. Now, while you're doing the pricing comparison, one of the other things that you're able to do is also product comparison. Product and customer service. I've already touched on it and I've already alluded to it. How detailed or how many bells and whistles are you offering with your basic product? And what is everybody else in your industry offering? So, in general, where's your location in the market? Who are you in the general strata of the market? Second is pricing. Where are you in your pricing in the market? Do you want to be there? And the third now is product. How many bells and whistles are you offering with your product? Is your product a better quality versus your product is a good product at a lesser price? Let me talk. Let me use a different industry to give you a suggestion as to how to understand this. Let's talk about plumbing for a minute. Now, there are lots of different ways to do plumbing, believe it or not. One of the ways to do plumbing is PVC piping. That's plastic piping. The other way is to do copper and all copper. And you can replumb a house by doing horizontals, or you can replumb a house by doing horizontals and verticals. Horizontals being cross, actually verticals is the most common. Sorry, I flipped it. I made it backwards in my mind. For all you plumbers who are listening to me, I apologize. Or contractors, I apologize. Then you can do the verticals or you could do the verticals and horizontals. So when somebody gives a bid for a replumbing job, you want to look at what's included in that replumbing job. Is it PVC piping? Is it verticals, or is it verticals and horizontals? Those are bells and whistles or differentiations on the product level. What about your product? What do you give? What do you deliver? What supports do you offer? One of the supports I offer for my product is seminars or webinars. You buy into my package and you get access to one of my webinars. That is a bells and whistle. That is something that you get that's meant to be a bit of a bonus, right? I also have a lot of experience in my field. So that is a bells and whistle if you want to have somebody with a lot of experience so that you're able to make sure that what you're choosing to implement comes from somebody who has a lot of background to cross-check what you're up to. So define your product, your core product, and define other products that people are offering and any bells and whistles they're offering that you're not, or any bells and whistles they're offering that you are. So compare the products. You know that chart? You know, you go and you'll want to pull up a review of a product, of an item, any item. I just did it for a voice recorder, the mini audio or digital. So I have mini digital voice recorders. I just did it for that. And have you ever done that? I'm sure you have. I'm sure not maybe for the voice recorder, but you've done it when you went to buy a car, or you've done it when you've gone to buy a DVD player, and you go, go into Google and you type in, reviews for the top 10 blanks, fill in the blank. And sometimes you'll find reviews, these are my favorite, that actually have charts in them. And they'll list the names, usually on the left, sometimes across the top, of the different products that you can buy. And then they'll list the features, and they just put a check mark in the box if that product has that feature or not. That's what I want you to do. I want you to draw a chart, and I want you to put your product features into it. And I want you to put the names of the top 8 to 10 people that I've been having you target. And I want you to put check marks into what it is that they're offering as far as products and product bells and whistles or product differentiations. Okay? So that is another way in order to get to a clarity about who are you in the market. How are your customers going to see you? Because why do we care? Why do I care? Why am I pushing on you to do this comparison across the market? You and the market. Who are you inside of your market? Can you answer that question? Can you? My challenge is for you to be able to answer that question. And I've given you some distinct and concrete encouragements, suggestions about how to get there. One suggestion is to go onto Google and just look at the other companies that are out there. Compare your look of your website, compare your pricing, and compare the details of your product. That's what I've suggested so far. Now, I ended with, right before the commercial break, I ended with the question of why do we care? Why do I have you doing this? I'll tell you why. Because there are mysteries. There are things that are going on in your company that you can't understand that are at effect because you don't know how your customer base is seeing you. That's why you care. You want your to understand how your customer base is seeing you, separate from how you wish them to see you. You want to understand how, from their perspective, they are seeing you. Have they placed you, whether you wanted it or not, to be the high-value, low-price provider? Have they placed you, whether you want that or not, to be the high-value, high-customer support product? Or are you kind of a mixed signal, and they don't really know how to place you in comparison to the other people on the market that they can talk to and work with? See, you might have cash flow problems that have to do with the three, let's just look at it. They have to do with the fact that you have a muddled signal out there, that you're costing too much for not enough product in comparison to other people on the market. So you're not closing deals, or you're not getting people to call you off your website. You can have the opposite problem, which is usually what I actually run into, by the way. What I usually run into is that you're offering too much product and too much customer service for too little price. And then people are uncertain. How's your customer see you? They might be uncertain about your capacity to fulfill what you've promised. They might jump on board and say, ooh, that's great, but then your company ends up not making enough money and you end up working too hard. And then your customer service goes down. The customer service that you've promised people goes down. Or you might perceive yourself as a luxury service, and you're not. You might think you're offering lots of value as far as the customer service and the luxury brand to your clients, and they're actually somebody else that has defined a new upper end to the market that you weren't aware of. And so if you think you locked in the luxury niche in your market, you may not have. And the same goes for the other end. If you feel like you're offering a high-value, lower-end price product, and somebody else is actually doing a better job at it than you are, or has basically, if nothing else, created a better website than you have, you might not be getting the clients that you want to be getting. You might be finding that your business has started to edge away for reasons that you cannot see because they're invisible to you until you've actually done this product comparison that I'm suggesting.